Welcome to this week's Talking Codswallop. I am Gemma.
I'm James.
You are James.
I am.
Yes.
Allegedly. I think I am anyway. If I believe the birth certificate and the hype, I am me.
Yeah. I think one episode I should say I'm James and you're
Yes.
Gemma.
Yes.
Yes. Just see if anyone notices.
Probably not.
Nah, probably not. They never listen to anything we got to say, do you, Salty Tadpoles?
No, that's true. And I don't listen at all, so...
Well, yeah, we'll get into that. we won't get into that yet, but we will get into that.
Shocking.
So, how has your week been, James?
It has been. What we on? The 15th, so we're partway through the month. We're over halfway through the month. It's only 28 days. Mm-hmm. My week has been... It's been what it's been, I guess. It's been okay. It's not been appalling. It's been bearable. How has your week been?
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely fine. I had a pajama day today, so I worked in my pajamas today, and I'm recording in my pajamas right now. So
Shocking. Shocking.
Do you know what? I don't really care today. So I had one of those days where I was just like, don't really want to go out. What's the point in getting dressed? You know, obviously I'm not going to sit here naked because, you know, that'd be a bit weird. But not that I walk around naked anyway.
Whatever floats your boat. But interesting, I've never done pajama days. They've never been my sort of thing. It's, I've just never, it's never been my thing. It's, you know, I'll wear pajamas sometimes, but generally I get up, I've got to get showered, dressed, etc. I've never done the pajama thing. Sitting around all day.
Well, I think, you know, because I kind of, you know, like I woke up, well, my alarm went off at 8 o'clock today, as it normally does, because obviously I've only got like 5 footsteps until I get into the office. But I was kind of like not really, couldn't be asked to sort of get out of bed. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get out of bed until 9:15. And then I thought to myself, well, I'll just start work now. And then normally throughout the day, I just kind of like get dressed and I'll pop out or something like that sort of thing. But no, just didn't really want to go out today. It's been miserable. So I just thought, you know what? I'm having a pajama day.
See, here it started out miserable, then it's actually been okay. But we've got the 90-mile winds coming along soon and the extreme downpour. So for the next few days, it's going to be interesting. I see lots of flooding because there are already loads of flooded fields here. So it's just going to get even more interesting. And the road I take to get into work floods pretty much all the time when it's heavy rain. So it's going to be cracking getting into work over the next few days.
Yay! Well, you know, maybe you do need to get that Land Rover that you're going to get from last week's episode.
Quite possibly. Usually I can get the gene, yes. Well, I get the gene. I've already got the gene already because, you know, I am God's gift of the road being an Audi driver. But to get further up the totem pole of twatterdom, as my colleague would call it, I do need the drugged out blinged Range Rover. So maybe these things will happen. Who knows? But it's also on the horizon. Being very British, we're going to discuss the weather. It could snow on Saturday, so we shall see.
Oh, see, I know. Because you see it all the time, you're like, ugh, I hate snow kind of thing. But I think because I know I've said this before, so sorry I'm repeating myself, but because I don't see the snow very often, it's like a wonderful thing to me, you know.
It's also the fact that you don't have to go out in it. I think that's the other thing for anybody. If you're not having to go out and actually, say, travel to work and things in it, it's less of a hindrance. But also, you're right. If you don't see it so much, it's a nicer thing to see. Yeah,
but also, I have driven in it. So, you know, it's like, it must have been about 4 years ago. In
4 years. Ooh.
I think 4 years ago in February, though, it was like coming down really hard in Poole, because in Poole they get quite a lot of snow. It's just basically where I live. We've got our own little weather system, so we very rarely get anything. But yes, it's like down in a dip, so it's protected. But yeah, I've had to driven home, you know, that hour's journey sort of thing, or it was a 4-hour journey to drive home, and I left work early because I thought that it was going to be bad. So, but even then I was like, it looks pretty.
What Gemma doesn't tell you is when she mentions living in their own microclimate, she lives in a biodome.
Yes, I do. That's what Stephen King called wrote the book after, and the TV program, The Dome. I think it was Stephen King anyway.
I have no idea. But you're saying that a horror story was based on you and where you live.
Yeah.
I'm saying nothing.
Well, it's based on where I live, not necessarily on me. But yeah, I mean, I'm a factor in it, I guess, as well. Moving on anyway. That's the end of this week's episode of Weather Talk. No. So you're an Audi driver, and we all know this because you tell us every breath that you have that you tell us you're an Audi driver. When somebody stops, to let you go. So like if there's so it's a bit of a narrow road, and do you put your hand up to say thank you?
Generally, yes.
Good.
It's a bit too difficult. I still say they've let me into the road, and I try and wave thank you. It's tough because I've got tinted glass, so you can't. When I first got the car, it took me a little while to realize that no one could see me if I actually thanked them or made other hand gestures at them. So I'll generally do the old, flashing the hazard light as a thank you, but I generally try and thank people just because it's the better thing to do. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I let an Audi driver, female Audi driver, so she's letting down the side here. I let her go on my side. Because the road was narrow and there was, quite a few blockages sort of thing. And, it was blatant that she wasn't saying thank you. She was just like, da-da-da-da-da.
Well, I have to say, I do, being an Audi driver, I do respect that. It's not great roadmanship, great roadwomanship, should we say, to bring everybody in. But yeah, I think you generally should try and say thank you, because it just makes things a little bit simpler.
Yeah, definitely. I always say thank you for everything. It's like my arms are up in the air more than they're on the steering wheel, you know what I mean?
But I mean, I do recognise my road superiority, but I do also, agree that you have to thank people. So
yes. I think it's just British and common courtesy, but it's not just British because other countries do it as well. But, I think it is horrible, though, when people don't say thank you. It's like, okay, yeah. I've got all the time in the world to kill here. I'll just sit here. It really gets my back up, that does. I've used it as Codswallop before, so that's why I didn't want to call it as Codswallop. So.
Although I will comment on the person who honked to me today as I was going around a parked vehicle. They were coming towards me on the other side. There was enough space, and frankly, I wanted to get round, that I'm not going to be held off doing my journey for a couple of seconds for some guy coming towards me, and I don't even know what sort of vehicle it was, some small thing. But nothing went wrong. Chill out, people. I've got to get round the thing that's parked, and frankly, there's enough space and enough speed with my car to get round safely. So people need to just, relax.
Yep. Calm the fuck down, people. Calm the fuck down.
And if I'd hit them, I would have obliterated them anyway, so.
Well, they wouldn't have been able to tell the story, would they?
Yeah, moving on.
Didn't happen. So I don't know if you've had chance to have a look on our social media yet, but there is a post about some badges that are for sale, James.
They are. There's some very impressive wee little badges that you put on.
Yes.
Small. In fact, that means small, but yes, small little badges that Gemma has toiled to have produced. I'm not going to lie and say she's made them with her own fair hands, but they're pretty bloody impressive. So I would say to anybody, get them.
Yeah, get them while you can. Yes, so basically we're charging £2.50 for the badge, and, then plus a little bit for shipping sort of thing, but it really won't be much. But it's all proceeds basically are going to go into the podcast, and, the sort of behind the scenes stuff that anybody who doesn't have a podcast who listens to us knows that, who does have a podcast knows what the background costs are in doing this. So it's just a little way for us to put some money back into the project so that we don't have to keep forking out for it all.
Brilliant. Yeah. I like it. It's very good. So Salty Tadpoles, future Salty Tadpoles, you know what to do.
Yeah, definitely. And slowly but surely, our YouTube channel is getting a little bit more. We've got now 48, so another 4. Woo! So we promise we really are going to do something with it. But yeah, it does take a lot of brain power, and there's a lot of stuff going on that's unpodcast related at the moment. So it's keeping us not, basically it's making us so busy that we're not able to think about doing the things that we want to do at the moment. But
teetering on the edge of sanity. I'm leaning into the insane mode at the moment, though.
Definitely. And while I'm at it as well, with regards to like feedback and stuff, and hopefully my phone won't cause too much interference with my microphone, but
Is that a pun? Feedback and a microphone. She's doing well, Salty Tadpoles. She's doing well. The puns are coming thick and fast.
I didn't even know I was doing one.
Yep. Good.
With regards to our Women in Horror episode that we recorded a couple of weeks back, Jamie Westwood has left his feedback for you, James. So I'm not sure if you've actually seen it. There was no acknowledgement to it, so I don't know if you've actually seen it or not, but I thought he's given the feedback that we asked for, so I thought we'd read it out.
Yep.
Also, just to sort of give him a little bit of promotion as well, Jamie Westwood and Tom Stevens, who's his best friend, they have got a podcast together, which is called The Chronicles of Podcast. And so basically every week it's a new guest, and they've got some absolutely incredible guests that they've spoken to. So unfortunately, I can't think of all of them right this second because I kind of put myself on the spot with doing this, but I know that they have had some really, really incredible guests. So once you finish listening to us, download their episodes, and you can also go on their YouTube channel to watch the videos as well, which Jamie is absolutely nailing. And yeah, go give them a listen as well, because they deserve it.
The only sad thing is they've not had the best guest they possibly could have on, which is you and me. So
I know. Well, they have
slipping.
Yeah. Well, they have had us on, but we weren't on as video people. So so hopefully they will sort of invite us back on, Jamie Westwood and Tom Stevens, and and Jamie, it's like only a week until I see you now, so maybe.
I will just need the advance warning for the video so I can have the required Botox and other work, so I look, reasonably presentable.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I'll need to make sure that my eyebrows are plucked and, lipstick is on, and well, not lipstick, I don't wear lipstick, but makeup is on, and make myself look wonderful and beautiful.
So you go for something you don't need to do, which is make yourself look beautiful because you already are.
Shucks.
I, on the other hand, am just trying to look human.
Don't be so silly. You are wonderful as well.
I'm like a horse. Anyway, carry on.
You don't look like a horse. You really don't look like a horse. Although someone did...
Why the long face? Yeah, go on.
Although somebody did say that I look like a frog once, and every time I look in the mirror now, I go, they're kind of right.
I don't see it. Nope, can't see it.
No. Well, you can't see me at all. But, yeah, I don't know. It's when that person... I mean, this was years ago, so that's how much it's tormented me all these years now. And they were a good friend as well, so it's like, oh.
Anyway, hop to it.
Oh, dear. Frog face and horse face. Right. Ribbit. So going back to Jamie Westwood and his feedback. So he said, yeah, The Exorcist 2 isn't great. My comment was more based on Reagan's character as they show her as a 16-year-old still recovering from her trauma, etc. Also, her story in The Exorcist TV series was great. Her underrated show. Or is the underrated show. I think he possibly meant that.
Yeah, I've heard it's supposed to be very good, the show.
Yeah. Oh, I've not seen it, so I actually don't know that one. And then he's also put in another post. He said, Also, why is James's Keanu Reeves impression so good with lots of laughy emojis? And then follows by James showing love for Return to Oz. I think James has won me over this episode. And then separately, he said, unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop listening to your podcast because I've now grown a little bit of a fond fairness to James. So you've lost us a listener from being so cool, James.
So being lovable, essentially. Destroyed the listener base. Oh, well.
So for the first time ever on this podcast, you being awesome and good and kind.
Be nice.
Yeah. You've ruined it all for me.
Shocking, terrible, awful.
No, but on a serious note, so that was his feedback that you asked for. So I thought I'd read it out because obviously he decided to give it to us, which is amazing.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, I mean, there's no point even saying, thank him because he's not listening.
Well, yeah.
But if anyone can pass the message on to Jamie, who knows him, say thank you.
I'll just demand that he listens to it. Or maybe I'll call the episode, Thank You, Jamie.
Yeah. So it'll, someone may say there's been a message linked to you and he'll be like, meh, so I don't care. Talk to the hand.
Exactly. I know that when he said, because last week I was talking about the fact that I've arranged a trip to Birmingham. The reason why is because obviously I'm going up to see Jamie and Becky, who is their husband and wife, but also Lucy Caton as well, because she lives in Birmingham as well. So, and in our separate chat, I said, it might be really good if we could get James to come to Birmingham, as I've said to you. And Jamie said, yeah, I'm going to park my bike right behind his car.
Well, if he was daft enough to do that, he knows what had happened to his bike. To be a mangled mess.
It'll be easy to spot yours, though, because it'll be all round, the hazards stuff will be all around it, or it'll just be parked on the opposite side of the car park.
The reality is I won Jamie over. For a fact, Jamie, I wouldn't hurt your bike. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. I respect you. See, the thing is, because the new changes to the highway code, I have to love all cyclists.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was getting at.
Yeah, we're all God's children. You're all wonderful, and don't you worry. I'll do whatever the weird thing with your arm is for opening the door to make sure I don't hit your bikes. I love you all. This is the new improved James Stafford loves all road users.
Okay, can you stop it? Because you're losing us more listeners by the second.
I mean, nice.
Salty Tadpoles are just not used to it.
No, true.
Go on. Sorry, I said
No, I'm agreeing. It's terrible. I think I must have suffered some sort of head injury and not realised.
You might have done. Or just COVID. Let's blame long COVID.
Yeah, let's blame it all. Long COVID and head injuries.
Yeah. It is funny because when you say long COVID with your accent, I always think you're saying lung COVID.
Well, it's not incorrectly wrong. It does affect the lungs, so yeah.
I know, but with your accent, because sometimes I really have to listen and I go, is he saying lung or long?
Long.
Yeah.
Long. Elongated.
Okay.
Don't gargle. Don't gargle your drink, Gemma.
That wasn't. That was just my tongue. Anyway, moving on, because that's got awkward now. It seems to be just getting awkward this week.
It does. I think the Salty Tadpoles will be like, ooh, look, awkward pauses.
That will be edited out.
Awkward pauses, confused silences, and this strangely creepy James being kind. So unusual and strange.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost like he's been possessed or abducted by an alien or something.
Being ganged pro by aliens as we speak.
So, James, did you want to crack onto some Codswallops this week?
Yes. But I'm going to let you go first because I'm intrigued to hear what your Codswallops will be.
Oh, well, I think I've only got one this week because obviously.
See that. Do you know when you say like strange things that I've come across as being more pleasant? Won Jamie over. Notice this, Salty Tadpoles. Gemma only has a short number of Codswallops. She's not as rage-filled this week as normal.
No. I mean, I think I got it out of my system last week. So,
Yeah,
but I'm also trying
definitely.
I'm also trying to do a bit more of a positive spin on things at the moment. So, because, my mood hasn't been the best. So I'm just trying to cheer myself up. But there's there's only one that really springs to mind. And not only did my co-host cheat on me again this week for the Reels and Heels podcast.
Oh, sorry, right. So again? Yeah, well, that's true. Yes, I have hoarded myself out to several different podcasts over the years. So
yeah, but you've also been on their one multiple times. I see in here.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
You know that he. And obviously he's still doing the show, so that's obviously brilliant still. But, probably the biggest Codswallop was, I really like that jingle. It's really upbeat. It's the best jingle that I've ever heard.
Yes,
Have you ever heard our jingle, James?
I have heard a jingle, and I think I praised our jingle at the same time. But yes, look, I'm going back to the cycling comment. There's plenty of love for jingles to go around. We're all good people.
We are, but you were so blowing smoke up their ass, and then it was just like a fleeting comment. Oh, not that I'm saying that the podcast I'm on hasn't got a good jingle. But this one is absolutely fantastic.
Well, was it like I was reading, like as someone been held captive, and I was reading like a thing? I am okay. I will be safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please pass on my best to the podcast.
And then you proceed to not say what the podcast is called. And I'm like, to be honest, I didn't watch it all because I was watching it towards the end of work. So, you might have done, but... if you didn't, come on.
I did mention us later on. Don't worry.
That's all right then. Phew. I will go back and watch it and give my full critique. Yeah, critique. I think is the right word.
See, it's stuck in your craw that much, didn't it, to say you're going to critique me in a positive manner. It's like you couldn't get the words out. It's like
exactly. Yeah. And Ivan Reichman died this week as well, didn't he? So that's like another
Ivan Reichman, yes. Poor Ivan.
Yeah, that's a bit sad. So, a bit of a sad Codswallop.
It's very sad with Ivan, and it was the weirdest thing the way I found out, because I don't know what it was. It was like the really early hours of the morning. I think it was like 5:30 or something. I woke up, I couldn't go back to sleep, and I thought, right, I'll go on and just go on Facebook. And the way I found out was Robin had actually posted something up about Ivan and saying, tribute to him, talk about working with him. And I was like, what? It's one of these things where, because you're tired, you don't necessarily take it in. And then I realised what it was, and you could see there were other things about him. But yeah, I mean, I'd commented on this I think when I was talking to Claire and Anthony about it, I was saying how the positive things, you think about all the great stuff he produced.
Yeah.
And the films he made. So as sad as it is that he's died, at least there's this wonderful history, wonderful history and story of films we can look at that he's done that have made a huge impact on the world. And the other thing is, at least from the sounds of it, he died in his sleep, and I know, strange as it sounds, unexpectedly. At least, hopefully there wasn't any suffering, anything like that. But yeah, he will be missed. He was a game changer, and you never heard bad things about him. So
yeah, that's all I've been hearing as well. Is really good things. Is that he was a really, really good father. Everything about him was he was a good person. So and just to give her full credit, it was Robin Shelby.
It was, yes,
who played Slimer in Ghostbusters. So and Slimer's love interest as well. So
yeah, she was in Ghostbusters 2 playing Slimer, and then she was in Ghostbusters Answer the Call playing Slimer and his love interest, which is very cool.
Yes.
And we've been lucky enough to have her. She's been on the podcast as a guest. She's a wonderful person.
She is. She's so sweet, and I really regret that I wasn't there actually for that episode. But hopefully, when things sort of pan down a little bit, then maybe we can get her back on. That'll be fun.
That will be very good.
Yeah, she's there sorting her laundry out at the same time as talking to you, if I remember rightly.
I think that was Laura, actually.
Oh, was it? Okay. I knew one of them was.
I think it was Laura. It's someone. Let's put it this way: the simplest way is to say it's somebody involved with the Ghostbusters franchise that was lucky enough to interview. There we go. All bases covered.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorting out her laundry. Not really interested in what James has to say.
Shocking. See, now notice there's a Freudian slip where she's not interested to say what Jamie had to say. Now,
no, I nearly said Jane.
If you are, no.
Yeah, I did.
Don't backpedal. You don't mean that. Hey, Jamie, I'm on your side.
I nearly said Jane.
Only at the weekends, darling. Only at the weekends.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, dear. And something else just popped into my brain, but I can't remember what it was. So we'll carry on to your Codswallops and see if there's anything, and then I'm sure it'll come back.
I don't think I've got anything too bad on the Codswallops, apart from it's just like the awful, cold, dark, horrible, wintry months not ending quickly enough, and it leaves me feeling tired and shitty all the time.
Oh, the weather report.
Yes. Well, you asked for a Codswallop, I've given you a Codswallop. Yep. But I think that's probably about it, really, yeah. And the fact that I ache a lot. There you go. There's a Codswallop that isn't weather-related. Well, kind of probably is.
Yeah.
I'm aching a lot at the time. But such is, hey, it happens.
Exactly. But, yeah, I think that was your Codswallop last week as well, James, to be honest.
Probably. Yeah. I've just got a constant rolling Codswallop, basically, the same things. But no, I'm generally not, I'm not too Codswalloped out, I don't think, at the moment. So I don't think it's been too bad.
That's good. Yeah, do you know what I'd be interested in doing? Or if one of our Salty Tadpoles had a spare 10 days or whatever, because it'd probably take about that long, to go through all of our episodes and jot down all of our different Codswallops that we've had throughout the years. I think that would be really fascinating. Like if we ever got a website or whatever like that, putting it actually on the, putting it all listed down on the website. But yeah, I know me and you haven't got the time for that, so...
It'd be interesting to see how many matched up as well, where we've literally made the same complaint.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
I think,
it would be interesting.
Yeah, because I think, definitely driving has been a factor. So if you're a Salty Tadpole and you have got, like, time on your hands at the moment and you fancy a little task, and don't feel obliged to do it if you don't want to, of course, but, if somebody does, then could you get in touch with me? You know where to find me if you're a Salty Tadpole, but it's at Codswallop Pod on all social media. As a way of me plugging the social media again. But that would be quite a useful and interesting thing to see and do. But at the same time, I'm not expecting everybody to sort of jump on board and do it. So, So, yeah, Salty Tadpoles, if you suffer with some sort of obsessive compulsive or associated disorder and would like to go through all our episodes, painstakingly finding out what exactly has pissed us off in the past, you know where to go. The thing is, James, I actually really want them to do it, and now you've put them off.
No. I think they're going to do it. You want to do it. There'll be somebody who's itching to do it. Wants to do it. We've planted the seed. Actually, I'll tell you what has one little Codswallopy thing, which does tie to the weather, but it is a Codswallopy thing, which is because the weather has been so shockingly bad, I've not managed to plant anything in the garden yet. So that is annoying me.
Oh, so you didn't? Did you see your dad this weekend anyway? Or
I didn't. No. We've not had a chance yet, and as I think I said on the last episode, he was going to help me with planting some rose bushes, but the weather has not allowed that. So, in the fullness of time, hopefully it'll be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's plenty of time to plant your roses. Have you got them already, or are you going to pop and get them?
Yeah, but you only have a window of. I think so, like getting, I don't know, winter, springish time. I don't know. Well,
okay.
It's all good.
So they've got to be planted by a date sort of thing.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I mean, I don't think anything's killed them yet, so they're out in the pots in the garden. So as long as it doesn't get frosty and horrible, they should be okay. Well, so not only do we now have a corner with regard to the weather, cars, we now have a gardening corner.
We best get your gardener then, hadn't we?
Yes.
Oh, Mike. I don't know. Mike seems like a really gardener name.
I don't actually know who Mike is, but let's keep going.
Yeah, but Mike as a name seems like a really good name for a gardener. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So your gardener's called Mike.
Okay. That's fine. Hiya, Mike.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. All right, Mike, whoever you are.
Oh dear. Well, there you go. The other thing that I thought of while the thing that I couldn't remember earlier, basically, me and my mum had a bit of a strange experience the other night, which sounds really dodgy, but actually not as dodgy as it sounded. But basically, the dog, like when the dog goes to bed, we shut the kitchen door and we don't hear a peep out of him, but our phone started making this little bringing noise, like when it was on the charge, but it was almost saying it wasn't being charged and stuff. And this was a couple of nights ago, but it was at 2:30 in the morning, which obviously didn't go down very well. But so he started pawing, like tapping his foot and pushing the door with his paws and stuff. So me and my mum went to investigate, and yeah, it was just really surreal because like he doesn't normally do anything like that. So I think it like spooked him, which was a bit sad, or a bit kind of thing, not sad. But I went out the front for a cigarette, and then there was this other dog that was like in the distance that was also barking at the same time, and we were like, oh my God, did like aliens land or something? Or, did something really spooky happen and, only animals can pick up on it? It was just like, that's really creepy.
That or the dog's been making long distance calls in the evening.
He might have been, yeah.
I won't put it past him. He's got a very mischievous naughty side, so yeah. He's been making long distance calls to places.
Oh, he gave me a Valentine's card this year as well.
I bet his handwriting's shocking though, bit rough.
No, but on a serious note, Graham did get me a Valentine's card because he didn't want me to feel left out, so he got me a Valentine's card from the dog. And I was like, oh, you really don't have to do that because I hate Valentine's. But, I thought it was really sweet that you actually thought like that, though. So
I don't think that's sweet or terrifying.
No, it's sweet. It's caring.
For the idea of a dog sending you a card.
Well, obviously Graham wrote it, didn't he? The dog didn't write it. That's
what you think. We've chalked up the dog's pretty smart so far. He goes after the mailman, he makes long distance calls at night, and he can write cards. If you can get him to iron and cook, you're on to a real winner.
Oh, nobody here irons. But yeah, cooking.
And you need to get the dog to iron.
No, we just buy clothing that doesn't need ironing.
Can you teach him to use if you can teach him to use the washing machine as well, washing and ironing?
Yes, that would be really good, actually. It would actually be quite beneficial. So yeah, I might train him.
Start teaching him. Yes, it's the future.
Yeah. So I think that's the, we've done Codswallop in between the rest of my week really there. So, but yeah, so I think I'm done. So have you been watching anything recently?
I've been watching Pam and Tommy, which is
me too.
Really good.
Yeah.
And it's freaky how much they managed to make them look like, Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson Lee.
Yeah.
It's an interesting show. As much as I like, Motley Crue, I don't think Tommy Lee's he's a very nice person in reality. I think he's calmed himself down a bit now, and he's older, he's later years. But you generally just feel very sorry for Pamela Anderson because the impression I get is that she's probably not a very balanced individual.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm exactly the same sort of viewpoint as you, that I think it's a brilliant show, and it's the first thing that. Well, I always like. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his first name, but Rogen was. Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen, yeah. So I've always liked Seth Rogen, but I actually really like him in this because it's actually a serious role for him. So he's not larking around and being stoned and whatnot, which, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure he'll be stoned, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
he's always stoned, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's not doing not doing sort of typical stoner type, jokey around kind of things. The same as you.
Laughing all the time like he
yeah.
does.
So, but yeah, I mean, I've just watched episode 4. I don't know. I'm not sure what day it comes out on Disney Plus. So, but it's I've seen episode 4, and that was actually quite an emotional one.
Yes.
Yeah, because of like events that happen and stuff like
Yes.
that, and Pamela getting a bit stressed and things that happen because of that. I don't want to sort of give it away because it's so brand new.
No.
But on episode 2 as well, when Tommy's really drugged up and he's going for a wee and he's having that conversation with his body
God, that
part.
was hilarious. That was hilarious. Well, I mean, speaking of body parts, the entire prosthesis for this show is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everything looks so real. It's creepy, and it just amazes me how much they've managed to turn them into the people. Because in reality, they look nothing like them, and it's and considering the fact that the fact that the girl who plays Pamela Anderson in it,
I think it's Lily James, isn't it?
It is. It's Lily James, who looks nothing like her normally. It's freaky, because they had to give obviously there's a blonde wig, a fake for some reason forehead, and the entire realistic looking breast they give her. It's just wow. It's amazing the way they've done it all. But the cast as a whole is brilliant. I mean, Nick Offerman is brilliant in it as well.
Yeah. Agreed.
He's an interest. All I'll say is I cannot fault the cast at all. It's interesting though that Pam Anderson never signed off on it. She just had no interest in having any involvement with it. But it doesn't present her in a bad light. It's.
Yeah, I think, because of if I've looked at anything on social media, obviously the Twitter warriors have come out and defended her and stuff, even though they've not asked her to. She's not asked them to, sorry. But, it's kind of, I suppose, in some ways what they're saying is that this film, or this, TV program is a bit like the sex tape itself coming out again.
Exploitative as well, I guess.
So
it's the situation.
So it's kind of it's bringing it all back out again for her, and she's maybe put it to bed finally, and it's all back up in the open again. But at the same time, I think it is really, really well portrayed. So it's and like you said, I mean, she does come across as a bit of a dumb blonde, but it kind of is. So it's not like fully, but she's not completely dumb though.
No, to me, the sad thing, I mean, I don't think she's at all dumb. You don't get to be who she was if you are dumb. But I think the sad reality it shows is she's very much a people pleaser. And she even mentions that in one of the episodes. And there probably is an element of that she just wanted to sort of make everybody around her happy. But yeah, I would say to anybody who gets a chance to watch it, it's funny, but it also makes you think, and it's interesting. And it is the thing that most people would look at the Pamela Anderson Tommy Lee sex tape and go, right, they had the false belief they made money from it, that it was like something they leaked, and clearly that was not the reality of the situation. Yeah. I have vague memories of it around the time, but I'm too young to really have known about it. But I mean, I knew who she was through Baywatch, and as I got older, I learned more about him, and his music. And I mean, I like Motley Crue. I don't know how any of them are still alive, but
I'm of the same mindset as well. I do. I love Motley Crue, and I think that Tommy Lee is an incredible drummer, but. The way he's being portrayed on this program. Because another thing that somebody said on Twitter was, "Oh my God, they're portraying Tommy Lee as real asshole," and I felt like going back saying he is.
I think they were probably portraying him better than he actually is.
Yeah.
I think he's being portrayed as like a bit of a... He's not great, is he? But he's portrayed as a bit more sort of like a crazy goofball. And I suspect in reality, he was probably far worse than this. Far, far worse.
Probably.
So,
but then I don't know for definite. But he could have been, definitely. But I'm giving, at the moment, I'm giving an indefinite 4 stars for this. So...
Yes. Is that now, just to be precise, is that 4 stars out of 5 or is that 4 stars out of 10?
Well, it could be 4 stars. But how many episodes are there? Could be 4 stars out of 8 if there's only 8 episodes.
That's right. No. We love you, Joanne. It's not personal.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's very personal, but we still love you.
We do.
Yeah. But and also we wish you good health as well, because she did put a post on Facebook saying that she's not been very well lately. So, I mean, we knew that anyway, didn't we? But
virtual hug. That's all I can ever say to people when they're on my virtual hug.
Yes. Unlike me, who instantly went onto the post because she said, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for, love and hugs and stuff like that. So I went on there and I put something along the lines of, all right, well, get out of bed, you lazy sod, and actually get over this already. And then I put in comment, like in brackets sort of thing, I put, oh, by the way, for anybody who's reading this who doesn't know who I am, this is a joke, I promise.
Gemma's practicing tough love again, people.
Well, I was just thinking to myself, well, she specifically said, I don't really want all the sympathy and the love and the hugs and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I'm going to give her what she wants then.
That's the thing. But what I do like is the fact that you put, it is just like a joke, because people sometimes don't get it. I had somebody attack me on Twitter once over a comment I was making to Sean Hughes, and he was like, I think I'd mentioned this in the past. He's like, have you seen the message? And I'm like, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. I know this person was really having a go at me. But the thing that was even stranger is they obviously don't know me and Sean are friends, but they never actually put me in the message. So there's no way I could even know what they were on about. The only way I knew is Sean sent me a thing. And he was like, we're friends. There's nothing meant by it.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, that's what friends are for, isn't it? To bust your balls, sort of thing. Even, metaphorically and physically.
This wasn't even, but there was, anyway, the world is a strange, unique, crazy place.
Yeah, definitely. So
it's like the Matrix, dude.
Have you watched anything else, or is that pretty much it at the moment?
I watched the 13th. It's when we mentioned The Matrix. I was thinking what I prefer of The Matrix is there's a film called The 13th Floor, which is kind of the same sort of thing. Came out the same year, I think, with regard to computer simulations and things of that nature and other universes. So that's a really cool film. I really like that. So I'd recommend to anyone who gets to see it to do it. It's got Craig Berko in it. Very good film. Gretchen Moll. And yeah, well worth, if you can find it, have a look at it.
Okay. I might give that a whirl then, because I did like The Matrix. Well, the original one anyway. The second one as well. We'll talk about the third. But third one wasn't great. But there you go. It had to happen,
It did. I mean, the other interesting thing that I've noticed is that, just mentioning another podcast, that I am proud of the fact that Walt hasn't had some sort of insane nuclear-style meltdown on Tell 'em Steve Dave over the fact Tom Brady's retired.
Yes.
I expected him to go into full crazy mode, but he seems to have handled it very well.
He does.
The fact that I took the mick out of him on Twitter and kept sending messages like, if you put him on suicide watch to them.
I know, I saw that.
I hope he's all right.
Well, if you at Sunday Jeff's profile, that's actually Walt. Mm-hmm. So, you can always get in touch with him that way. So
Nice.
Yeah. So I know that there's been something that I've watched recently and it was really, really good, but I can't for the life of me think what it was. So I'm going to leave my movie review. Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. I've remembered now. Now, I can't remember who was in it or any of the details, but no, honestly, I can remember most of it. But
give me a clue. Go on.
Yeah, I watched a film called The Shack the other day. which is basically, I don't want to give too much away, but it was a really, really good film. It's kind of on the spiritual side, so in the religious God kind of side. However, because of a non-believer as such, kind of thing, I saw it as a magical side rather than, spiritual all-being kind of way. Mm-hmm. But basically, it's this father who his son almost dies. So he runs to save him. But when he runs to save him, his youngest daughter gets stolen. And she is, unfortunately taken away, and she's, nasty things that happen to her basically. And, she ends up being killed, and it's killed in this shack. But they used to call, God Papa. So all of a sudden he got this letter. This is quite an old film, so I'm not kind of really spoiling anything that's new, but, I'm kind of going through details a little bit. He got this letter in his mailbox that said, "I will be at the shack, love, Papa." So obviously, he kind of thinks to himself, this can't be real, but he has to investigate who it is, and has to investigate. And so he steals his mate's van, and then he goes up there. And when he goes up there, he's kind of then on this journey of, it's kind of like a journey through grief. So, he deals with like the anger side of things. He deals with all the different things that he'd have to think about if he was going to be this God format or whatever. But it was a really, really magical film. It was like the three of us were watching it, and like literally nobody was talking the whole way through. It was moments when it was quite emotional, but it was a really, really, really good film. So I highly recommend that one, really.
I'll have a look for it.
Yeah.
Was the dog even quiet?
Yeah, even the dog was quiet.
Wow. God.
Yeah.
No, it didn't even make any calls. I'm impressed.
No, or squeak his ball, yeah.
Good boy. Good boy.
But no, honestly, it was really, really a good film. So, I do highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have a look for it.
There was also something else as well, but I really can't remember that other one, so.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Oh, I tell you what I did see. The new Jackass film. Oh my God. It's, I'll just say this. If you, not giving away, all I'll say is if you find the scenes where Tommy Lee has conversations with himself.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the real versions of those sort of things in the Jackass film. All I'll say is a queen bee and her hive have never quite been used in the way they're used in Jackass Forever.
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it before. Oh, God.
I was going to say, well, I haven't seen it yet, but I do intend to go and see it, hopefully at the cinema.
Yes.
So,
you'll, yes.
Yeah, because I love all of the Jackass films. So I think that it's going to be definite that I need to go and see it properly.
It's well worth watching. It's crazy, but well worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually quite funny that you bring up Jackass, because one of my stories might be about them this week. So should we move on to stories of the week?
I think we should, yes.
Yeah. Shall I go first, as I've just alluded to?
Yes, please.
Yeah? Let me just bear with me one moment. Okay. So, inflatable dinosaur at major London landmark looks like something very rude. The large inflatable creature arrived in Leicester Square in the capital and has got social media users whirring with theories as to whether it's meant to look like a penis or not. You know me and my penis stories.
Always hunting for the D.
I certainly am. Oh, and sorry, I should say, this is brought to you this week from the Daily Star. So, you know.
Was to step up from the Metro.
Although the Guardian wasn't. So I think, you know, we need to give the Guardian a little bit more credit. A 30-foot inflatable dinosaur which appeared in the heart of London bemused onlookers because of its phallic appearance. The large inflatable creature arrived in Leicester Square and has got social media users whirring with theories as to whether it's meant to look like a penis or not. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Oh, wait, I am. Either way, the green monster proved a hit with tourists and passers-by who made sure to get selfies with it, as reported by the Mirror. Obviously, that's who writes for the Daily Star then, I assume. After doing the rounds on Reddit and Twitter for a while, it was revealed that the prop is there as part of the series of PR stunts to promote the latest installment of the Jackass movies. Of course. It also says Jackass Forever on the floor as well, so that could have been a massive giveaway.
You think that would be a bit of a clue, don't you? Yeah.
You do,
just
definitely.
A bit.
Yeah. The film Jackass Forever... sorry, I'll start that again because I lisped all the way through that.
Lisped?
I lisped.
Very nice.
Yes.
Sounds kind of cool when you say lisped.
Lisped. The film Jackass Forever is a black comedy directed by and is the sequel to Jackass 3D. Directed by. Didn't say directed by whoever, but there you go. Which was released in 2010.
That is some quality journalism there.
I know.
Quality. Well done, guys and gals.
I think they might have picked this story off of the Metro. What do you reckon?
Probably, yeah.
Not that the Daily Star is any bit better. No. It is stunts, pranks and skits and opens with a parody of Godzilla where cast members fight off the monster.
Oh my God, I've just had a flashback. But anyway.
Okay, don't spoil a thing. Don't spoil.
I can't.
No.
It all makes sense now. Keep going.
But it was the prop's likeness to a male member, which left people in most amused and continued. What? Okay, this isn't my writing. This isn't my reading, people. But it was the prop's likeness to a male member. Oh, a male member. Mm-hmm. Okay, so a penis, which left people most amused and continued to attract attention during the day. In most amused. Okay. So I just want to point out this isn't my reading, okay?
No.
Let's see. They're just kind of repeating a lot of things, so yes, one person guarded it in case of high winds. Sent it towering off into one more direction.
That will be a problem soon, so I can definitely see with the way the weather's going to be going with the 90-mile winds coming, there will be a giant penis-looking dinosaur flying through the air.
That would be amazing.
It would be the ultimate PR.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of like, to be honest, that kind of is it. So other amused posters responded to the post and questioned if the creature, which has dark eyes at the end and of its long green neck, was attracting the right people. Idlewild Girl. That's pretty cool. I've not heard of Idlewild for a while. They're a cool Scottish band. Is it meant to ... look like that? ... question mark? For those unaware, it's a promo for Jackass Forever, somebody else said. And one poster who responded said, that's why it's phallic shaped.
But a bump.
The end, because I don't want to read any more of that story. But there you go. That's the end of that story. I have got another one coming up, but I will let James read for a little bit if he would be so kind.
Absolutely. So one of the problems, I mean, we've done weather corner a bit, but one of the problems that people did have, certainly earlier in the year, is there was lots of very bad weather, high winds, etc., and people lost power.
Yes.
And what does happen is a lot of the electric companies or power companies are good enough to say, well, we're really sorry there's been inconvenience, because some people had weeks and weeks, and in one case, nearly I think like a month of power, outage. They give you compensation.
Yeah.
And we all like a bit of compensation. Well, here's where things got interesting. So, Northern Power Grid issued an apology to 74 customers who were sent checks. That's good. It's nice they were sent checks.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that gets interesting. So it was commented on the actual nature of the check by a customer. So Gareth Hughes of Hebden Bridge, West Yorkshire, took to Twitter, posted an image of the eye-watering amount that he was sent to him by Northern Power Grid in the post. Can you guess how much he was sent? Can you guess, Gemma?
Is it high or low?
It's quite high.
Okay. £10,000.
I'll let you have one more guess.
Is it lower or higher?
It's higher.
£5 million.
Well, are you ready for this
Yes.
one, people? So, 74 customers, right, were sent this check. But Gareth Hughes of Hebden Bridge is the one who really commented on it. A check for more than £2.3 trillion.
What? Did they put the decimal dot in the wrong place?
£2.3 trillion. Just bear that in mind.
Yeah. Did they put the decimal dot in the wrong place or something?
I have no idea, because looking at it, I think the machine just went bonkers and just started printing numbers by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But what it says is, he was brilliant. He put a message up the base. He said, on Twitter, are you 100% sure that this is for me?
Oh, no, sorry, sir. We only meant to give you £23 back.
Yeah. His comment was, before I bank the check over, you're 100% certain you can afford this one. And people responded with things like, bank it and share it out equally between us all. Some people put, I think you own Northern Power Grid now.
That's incredible.
And in response to it, Northern Power Grid replied to the tweet, "Hi Gareth, thanks for bringing this to our attention. Please DM us your correct details, including address and postcode, so we can correct this oversight. Thanks, Phil." Over 2 trillion. So the machine's clearly thrown some sort of insane, technological wobble by doing that, because it just does look like it's just gone bonkers and just printed out numbers. But I just thought it was a really good story because it's funny. But as someone who works in the finance sector, I would love to actually just see what would happen if someone presented the check to people, and said, "This is what I need to bank," because I think you'd be like, "Yeah, it's not going to happen, pal."
I think a lot of security checks would have to be put in place, wouldn't they? You'd have to call the people that were.
It is beyond belief. I think more than likely it would everything would be rejected. There's just no way the system probably could handle it, for one thing.
Yeah. So. Well, I hope he gets a decent payout now that he's been honest. Because that would be a real smack in the face if it was only £23 that he was actually.
It probably is. In reality, something like only 23 quid. Because we've seen a few people in those sort of situations presenting checks and things. So, where they've had power cuts. But hey, if they want to give me a few trillion and I could cash it, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, give it a whirl. I tell you what, Andy, who, used to be on this podcast, Andy who? I thought I'd get in there before you did.
Absolutely. You said Andy who. I know it's Andy Barr because, I cherished working with him. But, it's all good, Gemma.
So,
it's all good.
Anyway, how, not last time he was on, but a couple of times before that he was on. Mm-hmm. He said that he was getting a bit lazy and he couldn't be bothered to go out and cash the checks because it was £10. I bet he cashed that one.
Yeah. And then probably wonder why he was dragged into a police cell and being asked, "What the hell are you playing at? Are you fraudulently doing checks?"
Yeah, exactly. So that is definitely, this is definitely a good story. So, okay, so my final story is, as I scrolled through earlier, James experienced a little And he went,
I did.
What's happened? And then I found out that this story is actually local to me, based on Portland, which is literally a 5-minute drive away from my house. So,
okie dokie.
So I kind of want to go and find this guy and interview him now. So, maybe we'll see. I know his name. I know his age. Because they tell me in this article.
The stalking begins.
Well, here we go. Hero pensioner races to save, in sort of speech marks, drowned woman, only to find a headless sex doll. And that's the reason why I picked this story.
I want to know why it's headless.
Yeah, I do too. Well, maybe only the mouth was any good after all. All the other bits were gunked up.
Or maybe you just wanted the head part, eh? Suck the rest of it.
Well, actually, it's quite funny because I closed down another story because I was going to bring 3, but then I thought no. So the other story that I had was there was a German forest which has got loads and loads of creepy dolls hanging from the trees. So I might bring that for next week. So I'll read that one next week. But yeah, so but it actually, maybe that's where the head's gone. So remember that, Salty Tadpoles, for next week. Unless I forget. And then, look it up yourself. Retired photographer Chris Ford, 67, believes the doll he found on the beach of Dorset and mistook for a dead body may have been thrown overboard by a livid wife or horny fisherman. Oh, and he's there. He's there with his big. Well, I'm not gonna comment in his appearance, but he's there. He's on Chesil Beach because I can see all the stones and the waves are crashing in the background. And he's very windswept. That's all I can say. So let's get into the nitty gritty of it all. And this is probably going to be a little bit of repeating again because it is the Daily Star. So here we go. A pensioner was shocked when he discovered he had rushed to the aid of a headless sex doll he had mistaken for a drowned woman washed up on the beach. Chris Ford, 67, shame it wasn't 69, was looking for driftwood, which actually I don't think is legal. I don't think you're allowed to take driftwood, but there you go. After a recent storm, when he thought he'd found a dead body of a woman with all of her bits on show. And obviously in the newspaper, you can see that the certain areas have been masking taped off, let's say. But
the black bars of justice.
Yes, exactly. But the retired photographer was relieved to find that it was a mutilated silicone female sex toy and quickly called his partner over to take some photos.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me.
The couple were from Portland, Dorset, both left in hysterics, speculating where it came from. Chris said it was a human-like figure, but was too clean and too pretty. How do you know it's pretty? It didn't have a head.
What does it say about the people in that area? I'm saying nothing.
Okay, can I just point out that, I'm not on Portland?
Hey, I never said you were.
No, I know. It was too pretty, and it did not have a head.
I'm sorry, but the fact that he's described a sex doll as pretty makes me quite worried about him. But anyway. The
feet looked phenomenal.
Yeah. Is that the sort of sex, that sort of porn he's into? Where there's no head on the body?
Maybe.
Some sort of weird, twisted snuff shit. But anyway,
It's like instead of the headless horseman, it's the headless sex doll.
Yeah. Or the headless whoreman.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. I'll let that pun go,
That pun will pass. Go on.
Yes, that pun shall pass. Apart from his lack of face, it was very anatomically correct. So basically, it was all the body parts were in the right place. So just in case I didn't say the right word. So as soon as I got to her, I knew it was a sex doll.
Oh, I was more worried it was like, as soon as I got to her, I started porking her.
Again, called his wife over.
Yeah. Come on, honey, watch me. Look, baby, no head, just like the porn I'm really into. Where are these people from again?
We're from Portland in Dorset. So again, 5 minutes away from me.
What the fuck? Portland. Oh, God. That's an area I'm not going to visit anytime soon.
No. Well, to be
turned on by headless sex dolls.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't said he is turned on by it. We've speculated that.
Full of sick perverts.
But you are right, because we said that there's like bumper stickers that people drive around with on their cars, and it's obviously on their bumper, and it says "Keep Portland Weird," and it's just such a weird place. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was somebody's kink. Anyway, let me move on. I'm always out collecting driftwood after storms, so I fully expected to see a human body one day, but never this. It certainly made my day. He and his wife...
his day? Oh my God.
I mean, it would make you laugh, wouldn't it? Come on now.
I know, but, I think, this guy who's on the list somewhere.
Well, the sex doll list.
Yeah, some sort of weird, kinky fetish list.
He and his wife believed that it was thrown overboard by a disgruntled fisherman's wife, or maybe the head had been removed to hide it elsewhere. I don't know. It is blah, 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 blah. I think we've covered the majority of this story. So he's now sat in a restaurant. The Cove pub, which is a very nice pub. And he's having a coffee while it looks like his wife has had 2 glasses of wine, because there's 2 glasses of wine on the table.
She's probably getting over the shock of finding out husband's into weird headless sex dolls.
Yeah, probably. But it's good promotion for the Cove House pub, which really is proper nice. So, yeah, and he's ending it all. Not ending it all, but he's ending the article really with, I just chuckled and found the whole thing hilarious. I've seen dead cows, pieces of dolphin, seals, etc. wash up, but nothing ever like this. So he's happy to have seen a dead cow, pieces of dolphin and seals, but yeah.
That's not terrifying at all, is it?
No, there really isn't any more to this story. So, I mean, there is, but I cannot be bothered to carry on reading it. We've got the best out of it. We've definitely got the best.
Salty Tadpoles. Salty Tadpoles. You want to see some weird, sick shit? You know where to travel to. It's Portland.
Yeah, come visit me, people. Well, Owen Edmonds has already been down to see me, so Jamie Westwood's coming next week.
I think that should be Portland's new advertising slogan: headless sex dolls. Come for the beach, stay for the headless sex dolls.
Oh, there you go, Jamie. You got something to look for and search for when you're down next week. For now, I'm going to go and see if I can find one. So in that case, I think we've been talking enough Codswallop this week, James. How about you?
I would agree. So tonight, when Gemma's out there allegedly taking the dog for a walk, she's out the big powerful torch, on the beach.
We'll see what I can find. Oh, I love that story is so local to me as well. It's brilliant. Anyway, so I have been Gemma.
I've been James.
And again, if you can follow us on YouTube, I know we keep going on about it, but the sooner you do it, the less we'll carry on about it. So, if you can follow us on YouTube, please. And, all of the other social media. And, if this is your first time listening to this episode as well, click that little subscribe button, pretty please, because we're doing everything we can to promote it. And it would be good if you could do your bit as well. So, thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I should actually say as well, another thing with regards to promotion as well, we are part of a couple of networking podcast groups as well, which one is called Always Up Network, because there's so many different countries, so one of us is always up. So if you're ever looking for other podcasts, just use hashtag AUN, and you should be able to find different podcasts as well. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to shut up now. We're going to go, and I'm going to go and search the beaches of Portland.
Have fun, Gemma.
I will. I'll let you know, James, what I find, okay?
Perfect.
I was thinking say pervert.
Well, that too.
Bye-bye.